Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I'm going to show you how to play as the ultimate brawler setup in Star Wars Battlefront. This is one of the most fun classes to play, and in fact it can be one of the most effective classes to play if you're in an infantry intensive situation. Now I can play it on Walker Assault, but if you play on game modes like Drop Zone or Cargo or Blast, you can absolutely wreck people. Now this clip here is me playing with the CA-87 Shock Blaster for the first time. It's essentially the shotgun in Star Wars Battlefront, and I didn't know how effective it was going to be. This is me learning how effective it is. I went on a 15 kill streak right at the start, and because you can corner peek with the third person camera here, it is just amazing for letting people get extremely close to you and then just peeking around the corner and one-shotting them in the face. Now the whole setup for this loadout is going to rely on a few more star cards, but I just kind of wanted to warm you up to the idea of wrecking face with the CA-87 before we use the incredibly overpowered star cards in combination with this great weapon, and you will just see how well it can do even against veteran players. Now thanks to Simthic.com we actually know a bit about the actual stats of the CA-87 now. It fires 10 projectiles at once. Each projectile can do up to 15 damage. It does start dropping off at around 15 meters when you get away from your target, and you'll notice that as soon as you get to a certain distance from your foe, you're actually not going to do any damage no matter how much you shoot at them. So it seems like it either drops off to 0 damage per projectile or the spread just gets so insane. The cone of fire is supposed to be 2.5 degrees. So basically the damage drop off with this gun is extreme. Close quarters is pretty much the name of the game. As soon as you get far away, this weapon becomes pretty much useless. And nothing like taking out Emperor Palpatine to show you just what this weapon can do. Okay, I'm working on the loadout. I've got my scan pulse, and as you can see when I activate that, it's the wall hack. And that is the ultimate combination with this weapon. And this next clip here is showing you the fully decked out loadout that is so incredibly effective in Blast or Drop Zone or any of the infantry focused game modes. You can make it work on Walker Assault as long as you use it in the right parts of Walker Assault. Basically, I'm using the scan pulse to see where guys are around corners. If there's a full room of guys, I'll throw a flash grenade in there, stunning them basically. They are pretty effective. You can kind of see through flash grenades, but not that effectively. And then I can get in there quickly. Now, another important part of this loadout is the trait. I'm using the scout trait, which means I don't show up on radar when I'm sprinting around. This is going to allow me to flank people, and it's very, very key to this trait, because if people see me coming, then I'm not going to get those flanks off, and I'm not going to be able to shoot tons of people in the back. Now, obviously, it's not 100% reliant on flanking. The scan pulse allows you to win those corner peeking battles. You get an advantage there, and if you don't think you're going to be able to just run in guns blazing and kill everyone, you can always throw that flash grenade, which will give you the upper hand advantage. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't hit rank 15 and purchased your first trait yet, your trait symbol is displayed over your minimap in the lower left-hand corner. There are 3 levels of each trait. Every time you spawn in, you get level 1. For the scout trait, the first level allows you to not show up on the minimap when you're sprinting. However, when you hit rank 2, and you'll see that I have 2 bubbles right now, you get that just from getting points and killing people and playing the objective. The level 2 on this makes it so that when I fire my primary weapon, I still don't show up on the radar. So I'm virtually invisible now. So being a ghost on that minimap is just unbelievably useful. Now when you hit level 3 with the scout trait, and this is not a requirement for doing well with this loadout, with this setup, but it is incredibly good. Once you hit level 3, it means every time you get a kill, your weapon cooldown resets, and that's very important for the CA-87 because it overheats super fast. It only takes 3 shots to basically overheat this gun. So if you fire it back to back to back, you can take 3 shots, and if you miss any of those shots, that really hampers the amount of damage you can do in close quarters. So if you reset that cooldown completely every time you get a kill, it means you can go on crazy flanks and just wreck everyone. Now, I admittedly haven't done this a lot because to get level 3 of the trait, I think you have to at least kill 3 people or more. So you have to be on a 3-person kill streak just to have level 3, and then you have to take advantage of it. So admittedly, it's not that common of a thing to happen, but it's still pretty cool thinking that the ultimate situation for this class just makes you so unbelievably powerful. Now, I've got the jetpack equipped on this class, and I honestly use the jetpack for all of my classes. Just having that added mobility is so incredibly useful. It's especially useful for TDM maps. Even on that Hoth map where I was up on top of the Millennium Falcon, I mean, that's a map that you generally can't really use the jetpack much for, but it does allow you to get over certain obstacles and stuff, and I just still find it incredibly good. And since this whole class is based so much on mobility and getting up in your opponent's face, closing that distance, it's also quite fun for jump packing up in the air and then like shooting your opponent right as you land in their face. The flash grenade is the one area of this loadout that you could swap out for something else. It's just fun using the flash grenade because I don't think a lot of people are expecting it. You don't see many people running it, especially when you can have something like an impact grenade, which is an incredibly good thing to have as well. I think this loadout would work just fine with an impact grenade, but because the whole point of this is to try and get into any room, any situation without being deterred, the flash grenade I find to be a little bit more useful, because once you get in there, the CA-87 is going to do all the work for you. Now, I have seen some people struggling with the CA-87. One thing that will throw you off a little bit is the fact that if you're playing in third-person mode, a lot of your shots are going to get blocked by corners and objects when you're trying to wall peek. It's something that happens with every single gun, but it's not as noticeable with rapid-fire weapons, because even if it blocks one or two of your shots, a lot of them are going to still hit. But if it blocks one of your shots with the CA-87, that's a huge deal. That's potentially a firefight losing problem right there. So you have to be really aware of where your gun placement is versus your camera placement, because that's the one thing that's going to slow you down with this loadout and get you killed. Once you start to become more aware of that, especially if you're playing in third-person camera mode, you should do a bit better. You could always play in first person if you wanted to, and it's not that bad, especially when you're using the scan pulse, but ultimately I still think just playing in third person is going to be the best way to go. You're going to be most effective, and it really helps with corner peeking. Now, without question, there are situations that this class just is not going to work well. The beginning of Hoth on Walker Assault. The beginning of Tatooine Walker Assault. There are some big, wide open areas of these Walker Assault maps. It's going to be very hard to close the distance, and you're going to be virtually like useless in those areas, because once you get past a certain distance with the CA-87, you do 0 damage. It's just nothing. You can't do anything to your opponent, so you got to get right in their face. It's not to say that it's not useful on Walker Assault, and especially on Hoth when you get indoors and people are going for the objectives in those corridors and hallways, it can be really good. And same goes for Tatooine. At the end, there's a whole bunch of objectives inside of buildings, and then this class is going to be much more useful, especially with that scan pulse, and there's lots of people pushing into a room. You can absolutely just wreck at those situations. So it's just one of those things where it's like you might want to have this as like your backup class on Walker Assault, and then you can switch to it when things get really hairy in close quarters. Now, if you're absolutely loving this class, you can spend some more credits and make it even more efficient, more effective by upgrading your star cards. Now, the first upgrade that I would do is the jetpack. It reduces the cooldown. You can jetpack more with it, or jump pack, whatever you want to call it, and that's just going to be good, especially if you use the jump pack for all your classes. Then the next one is the scan pulse. You can upgrade the scan pulse so that it lasts longer. I think it goes from 7 seconds to 10-second duration. It's not a huge upgrade since I kill most of the people I need to in the first 7 seconds of it, but it's still useful. And always make sure that you've bought enough charges for the scan pulse as well. So try out the Brawler class. If you like any sort of shotgun gameplay, you are going to love this class. It is an absolute beast. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.